The Slate truck. This rather interesting vehicle made its debut, like a couple of months ago. And I was supposed to make this video ages and ages ago, but I didn't get around to it, as per usual. So in this video, we will finally talk about why I think the Slate truck is not just the most important vehicle launch of this year, but also of this decade. So for those who are not in on the loop, let me quickly bring you up to speed as to what the Slate truck actually is. Slate is a startup car company that has been funded, among other people, by Jeff Bezos of Amazon fame, and their first product to come to market is called the Slate truck. They're called Slate because it's a play on words of blank slate, which is exactly what they're selling pretty much. The Slate truck, as you might be able to see from these videos, is a pickup truck, and it looks very plain, like a car in a racing game that hasn't loaded properly. That's intentional. The body panels are unpainted polypropylene. It does not have an infotainment system on the inside. It has crank windows. It doesn't have any sort of additional luxury features like that, or like advanced driver assistance systems or anything. It has cruise control, and it has air conditioning with physical air conditioning controls on the inside. It has a single rear motor with 201 horsepower. It can go this much on a single charge depending on the battery pack size, and that's about it. If you want paint, you can get vinyl wraps, and there are some other accessories as well, including little cutouts for the headlights to change how they look, and that's it. And they want the truck to start from just $20,000 after tax incentives from the government. Otherwise, it's about $28,000 as far as I know. And that's all you need to know about the Slate truck. Actually, one other thing you need to know that I need to single out is the guerrilla marketing that they did back in April. They created a whole bunch of fake companies that don't actually exist in real life. They decorated the trucks with branding from these fake companies, and then they hired people to act as employees or founders of these companies and just parade around Los Angeles pretending to be the founders in character and why they chose the Slate truck for that purpose, which is genius. So why am I bringing this up? Why is the Slate truck the most important car launch of this year and this decade? It's actually quite simple, because it's the antidote to everything that's happening in the automotive industry right now. How many times have you heard people recently complain about the overabundance of technology and complication in new cars? That's what the Slate truck is here to fix. You might have heard me say that the thing does not have an infotainment system. I mean that literally. There's an option to mount your phone in the dash, and if you want, there's also an option to mount a tablet in the dash. But it doesn't include an infotainment system from the factory. You have to, figure it out yourself if you want a phone or a tablet. There's physical AC controls, so there's no fumbling around with the screen trying to figure out where everything is. You just twist dials and press buttons. There's also the fact that it has crank windows, which will make it, as far as I know, the only vehicle in North America, new vehicle, to have crank windows, because what do you need power windows for? They'll just break. I realize that it's not quite as simple as that, but you understand the whole angle that this company is trying to take with this vehicle. And there's a constant influx of complaints from car enthusiasts, from the media, from even consumers, that new cars are too complicated, they have too much technology, it's difficult to figure out, it causes a lot of ergonomic nightmares, and it's just unnecessary. And that's what the Slate truck is here to fix. Oh, and I also forgot to mention that you can have it as an SUV if you want. Out of the factory, they'll all come as pickup trucks, but there's an SUV conversion kit that covers the bed and adds additional seats, and you can have a fastback SUV or just a regular super boxy SUV. But going back to what I was saying before, the Slate truck is a complete antidote, a true detox of the modern automobile and its hideously complicated safety systems and technology and all these things that could potentially go wrong or sour the experience behind the wheel and the ownership experience later down the line. And it also comes at a crucial time, which is people are starting to talk about Chinese cars a lot more now. And have you seen the interiors of Chinese cars recently? Yeah, it's completely crazy. Here's one example that I will single out. I know that I've said before that this is not a Chinese company, so to say, but one, this vehicle is built in China, and two, this vehicle is only sold in China at time of recording, and there's no confirmation of whether or not it'll be sold in markets outside of China. But anyway, take a look at the Slate truck's interior. As I said before, very simple. There's an optional phone holder or tablet holder, the physical AC controls, tiny little digital gauge pod, and that's about it. Now take a look at the interior of the Lynk & Co 900. There's a pretty significant difference, I'm sure you'll agree. I don't remember the exact stats for the Lincoln Co. 900, but I remember it was something well over 30 inches in diameter, which would actually make it closer in size to most consumer-grade televisions, not like a tablet or something similar. No, a television. In a time when consumers and enthusiasts and the media are literally begging automakers to switch back to physical controls and to lay off all the infotainment and touchscreen flavored Coke for a little while, the Slate truck comes in and says, here, this is how it's done. And it is possible if you want to do it. You can make a vehicle that's purely about functionality. You can make a vehicle this is something new that I've been seeing recently and it drives me insane. You can make a vehicle that isn't software driven. Sorry, I just cringed in my mouth a little bit at that sentence. You can make a vehicle that's simple, that gets the job done, and that shows that you don't have to overcomplicate things for them to work properly. There's also the fact that the Slate truck is a lot smaller than most American market pickup trucks, like your Dodge Rams and your Ford F-150s and the Silverados and so on. The Slate truck is much smaller, but it will provide basically all of the capability that almost all pickup drivers actually need, without being massive, without being expensive to own, and without having a massive gas-guzzling powertrain. Which will also, by the way, about the dimensions, that will also make it safer. And the reason why I also think that the Slate truck is the most important vehicle launch of the decade is because it will cause other automakers to take notice. Because this is the deal. The Slate truck received overwhelmingly positive reception when it was first revealed. And the last bit of news I heard is that the company currently has 100,000 paid reservations for this vehicle. Remember, we have never even seen a production model. I think most of the ones that have been shown so far have all been pre-production prototypes and all of the CG videos and photos on the company's website. Regardless, 100,000 reservations for the Slate truck. And I think that this will open the eyes to the global car industry that, as it turns out, some buyers actually want this sort of thing. And it'll start to get other automakers to notice, and maybe these automakers will jump on the bandwagon. Now, of course, I'm not leaving out the option that the Slate truck could be sold in Europe or Asia or other markets, but I am more inclined to think that an automaker from those parts of the world will actually try something like this themselves. For Europe, because that's the market I'm most active in, I think that the first automaker that will attempt something similar to this is either Dacia or Citroën, because they're also very much on the cusp of this whole back-to-basics approach with new cars. Overall, the Slate truck has massive potential, and I think it could be a runaway success. And because it's going to get the rest of the car industry to take notes, and because of its complete antidote to all of the new software-driven and highly complicated technology-packed cars, I think that the Slate truck is officially the most important vehicle launch of this decade. And I don't know how many times I said that in this video, and I'm sorry for repeating myself so much, but I cannot stress that enough. And I'm very curious to see how the Slate truck story progresses, and I really hope that the company does well because they deserve it. They brought us something that we always say that we want. And that's going to be about it for this video, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, be sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you think of the Slate truck, and be sure to follow along with the community tab for reports on upcoming videos. And I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.